You all have been making a lot of conservation efforts in China to make the environment better for the wildlife in the city as well as in remote rural areas. Tell me about it.
When I first came here, I was just blown away by how much biodiversity is here. I was astonished at how much wilderness you still have left. Visiting the Tibetan Plateau and seeing the density of the predator species there, it was just incredible. The bears, the wolf, the snow leopard, the common leopard, lynx, all of these species have quite healthy populations on parts of the Tibetan Plateau. And of course, in the northeast, you have a population of Siberian tigers, which is one of the most impressive predators in the world, without a doubt. And of course, in Sichuan, places like Sichuan, where you have these incredible biodiverse temperate forests, they're almost as rich as the tropical rainforests and with species that are found nowhere else on Earth, and so I really wanted to help protect it, because in my home in the UK, we've lost all our predators many years ago, and we're now spending a lot of money trying to reintroduce a few species that we've lost, and it's incredibly expensive and incredibly difficult to do that. It's much easier to not lose them in the first place. So I really felt strongly that I wanted to try to raise awareness about how special all this biodiversity is, and to do what I could, even if it's a small contribution, just to try to help protect it.
Yes. I've been working with our team, WildAid in China, for over 10 years now, and I've seen quite a dramatic shift. It's been quite impressive to see how the Chinese public in particular have become more aware of the crisis facing wildlife and biodiversity.
Yeah.
And how they all mostly would like to be part of a greener and cleaner environment, especially to see the leadership from government in China making these issues top priorities and quickly implementing strong laws and policies that really will help to guide the entire country and the people together toward a more sustainable future.
Yeah, of course. Taking my hometown as an example, Altai region is a tourist area with a very good ecological environment. So many people get jobs by the environment.
Yes.
So everyone knows to cherish the situation and will spontaneously protect nature and wildlife. For example, our beaver project has always been supported by the local government and the community. We set up public welfare program like beaver canteen, we planting willows around the Ulungu River, beaver guardian to train herdsmen become rangers and protect the beavers, and so on. All those programs run under the support of government. Our beaver family donate on internet because we all believe that this is a kind and beneficial thing for us. So not only our species conservation, community development, public participation, and government management, these four angles cooperation, but there are also many people in Xinjiang cooperate to do a good job in biodiversity conservation.
Integrating species conservation and community development. Terry, you had similar experience in Sanjiangyuan Valley of the Cass, right? You created a new model there, a pilot project.
Yeah, I have to say, this is probably the project that's the most rewarding project I've ever been involved with. And Shan Shui invited me to take part in a sort of festival of nature watching. I was so fortunate on the first day. I happened to see 2 snow leopards, which for me was a dream come true. It's one of the most difficult to see mammals in the world, without question. And so I was extremely fortunate. And it triggered a conversation with local government about maybe you could have some kind of limited community-based tourism here, where people could come and stay with the local people in their homes. The local people could guide them around to look for the wildlife, and this would bring some extra income into that community, which is materially a very poor community. It would give tourists a good experience, a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and also raise money for conservation. It worked incredibly well. The pilot, I think in the first full year, it raised more than 1 million yuan for the local community. And they've decided how that money's spent. 100% stays in that community, so nobody takes a cut. The government doesn't take a cut. Shan Shui doesn't take a cut. We don't take a cut at all. It's all kept in the community. It's helping to fund community projects, things like healthcare for old people, road maintenance, things like that?
Yeah, of course. We already recruit over 500 local people, especially our herdsmen, to become our nature conservation rangers because they really live very closely to beavers. And we also settle the training courses and the working procedures with them so that they will know what to do and how to do to protect beavers through all those procedures.
This is going to be the principle of effective community management of these resources. I think we have to include people as part of the equation and as part of the solution, rather than to try to build a wall or build a fence and keep people out. We need to have people-centered conservation. It's not a new concept, but it's a difficult concept because in many cases we have governments who are trying to, do their job of keeping people out and upholding the laws, but at the same time, maybe we don't fully integrate the needs and the aspirations of the people also already living there who have a lot of knowledge and who have a stake in the long-term protection of these resources.
And I remember the former head of the National Park Service, when he came to China for the National Park Forum in Xining, he said, if there's one message, sort of lesson from the North American experience, is don't move out the local people, because the local people are a great asset. They know the area better than anyone. They can be the best rangers. They can have great jobs basically in the national parks because they know it best and it's their home. And that brings income into those communities as well, and also a sense of pride. This is their home and it's become a national park. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, of course. They're so proud. Let them enroll into our work. Not only help them increasing their income, but also give them the feeling of honor. And they're even very proud of having beaver in their home range, the real beaver family.
So we have to trust them and give them the opportunity, but then also we have to have clear guidelines and legal frameworks that allow the conservation priorities to be accomplished without sacrificing the human development side.
Wenwen, you were the Chinese youth representative speaking at the opening ceremony of the UN Biodiversity Conference last year. How do you think the COP15 is helping?
Oh, this helps a lot. The UN Biodiversity Conference really cheered us up. Our whole beaver family felt the supreme glory last year. It feels like our working in past 5 years finally being seen by the whole world, that kind of feeling. And it also makes us have confidence to keep walking on our way, on our own path, because we finally know our path is right through last year's conference. And this conference also encouraged many members of our beaver family getting the confidence to choose nature conservation as their real work, instead of just doing our work online or part-time. I also received several messages this year, Some students just choose wildlife conservation as their first choice in their colleague aspiration, and they send me the message online. And now they're my schoolmate already. I think this is the most amazing part. My main expectation on COP15 this year is to see how will this world do to make biodiversity and nature conservation to become a mainstream view. Just like how to make everyone feels like conservation is like a normal value to everyone.
John, you are in Montreal right now attending the UN Biodiversity Conference. Anything new you can share with us?
Well, it's impressive to see, how many people are coming together to try to make all this happen. Obviously, it's very complicated. It's now becoming more of a urgent and a bigger challenge as we see how everything is connected together. One of the things I'm most impressed with is the hope that we can really put this 30 by 30. This is the idea of protecting 30% of the land and ocean by 2030. And many countries are making, strong commitments, including China, which is very impressive. Like we've seen the announcements from China expanding the national parks, the terrestrial national park, but we would also now look to the ocean. The ocean has only very few percentage of the area that's truly protected. And we all are going to depend on this ocean going forward. And the healthier this ocean will be around the world, the better it will be for our sustainable future. So I am looking forward to working together with our partners in China to help China become a leader in that area also.
Terry, what is your main focus and expectation on COP15 this year?
And this is arguably the most important environmental meeting ever. It's 196 countries are due to agree on a new global biodiversity framework, which is aimed at slowing and stopping this biodiversity loss that we're experiencing today. But I think it's important to recognize that, this is not a silver bullet. This is not, once we get an agreement, that's it. Because the role is going to be vital in terms of setting the goals, where we need to be heading towards, what we need to be doing. But it won't actually do it. So I think we have to remember that, this is not just something for national governments to do. Every sector of society, whether it's business or communities, cities, provinces, states, we all have to align our activities with the goals of the biodiversity agreement, and that is not easy and it's going to take time. So this is a really important first step to set the target, set the goal, but I think there's a hell of a lot of work now to do after that to implement it.